It's been a minute. This is going to be a collective read. See what comes out. Tarot reading. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie. I'm a tarot reader and intuitive coach for the last 6 years. If you're curious about my awakening story and how I became a reader, go ahead and check out my other playlists. But some announcements. I have been mentioning for a while that we are pushing out a new product. It is Miriam's product. And we're still trying to figure out the words because it's something that is going to eventually grow. But she has already posted a couple of the tiers. One of them, and of course, they are geared more specifically towards love readings. The product that she created is a scan using her astrology formulas, which you guys know that I'm a diehard fan for. And we can see if your person or whoever you're inquiring about is a twin flame, soulmate, or karmic connection. And so instead of getting tarot readings and asking, is this person genuine? What is the outcome of our situation? Will we get married? Will we have kids? Does this person think about me? Do they like me? Blah, blah, blah. Pretty much it would get all of that out of the way. So instead of constantly purchasing tarot readings, I mean, one could argue that this might, I don't think it would ever get rid of tarot readings, but I will say that I don't want to use the word factual, but, you know, with astrology, I look at it as almost like mathematic, you know? And so it's way different than channeling and interpretation with tarot readings, because depending what kind of reader you go to, it will always be different, right? So if you want to go check that out, go ahead and check out my community page for those links. I am using a bunch of new decks, and I know that you guys can't see them, and there's a reason for that because I'm trying to bond with the decks, and it's better if I'm not distracted on a live. I do have audience karma. I've been going through that for a long time. I think we are at the tail end. And so I am calling in my people. Please double tap to like the video if you are in the chat. Helps boost the algorithm. It has been a minute since I've been live because there's so much going on, you guys. So much going on. I think the biggest one is the product launch and things shifting around in the business. I have some decks sitting next to me, you guys, that are from the 1970s. Where is this one from? Switzerland, Belgium, France. I'm like kind of considering like posting them on the community page if you guys are interested in seeing them. But my friend's husband, he is a collector, and my friend is a tarot reader, and he basically shops for these vintage tarot cards, and he's like resold them, made some profit, but some of them he like wants to keep, and it's hard to argue because this is history, you know. It's so interesting. Some of them are unopened, and I don't want to open them. I don't know. What do I do, you guys? What do I do? Do we have any people in the room that are also tarot readers or have a tarot deck of their own? I'm just curious, like how many people that watch tarot, are you just a watcher or are you someone that also is a reader? I'm just like curious about my audience. I can't decide which deck I want to use. Okay, let's just see what comes out. because I felt called to jump on, and I don't even know why. So we're just gonna roll with it. What does the collective need to know? Hi, Flamingo Phoenix 121. Welcome in. I tend to have wallflowers, so it doesn't surprise me that there's people in the room, but you're not double tapping to like the video, and I just say, why? Interesting, okay. It makes me wonder how many Libras I attract, because it's like totally a Libra Pisces thing to kind of be a wallflower. And I was asking Miriam, why is that? And she says it's fear, out of fear of being judged. I'm like, what? Really? Interesting. A decision needs to be made, is what I hear. Masculine energy. Show me. What's going on for the collective? What do they need to know? Strength in reverse. Seven of Swords. All right. The Tower in reverse. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Not what I was expecting, you guys. I heard there's a pest in the room. Okay. The Devil. The King of Pentacles in reverse. The Two of Cups. Hello, welcome in. Queen of Wands. Eight of Cups in reverse. Seven of Wands. And the Two of Swords. So there are things that you don't see coming about deceit. Be careful of holding on to things too tightly. And, you know, in the United States, we are kind of going through a recession. And so I know there's a lot of that going on. I would go check out the collective channeling readings that I posted over the last 2 months. I know there's one that I posted that says the abundance, what is it? The abundance mindset, I believe. And I'll just leave it at that because that video would just tell you everything. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the like. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe and all that good jazz. I hate to say it, but you know we have to because you know how it goes. King of Swords, Ten of Swords. The Moon in reverse. All will be revealed. We have an eclipse. Is this in September or October? It's coming. It's coming. And so you're going to see that energetic shift when the moon moves. There's something about getting information from someone that's certified. Did subscribe. Well, I love that. Well, welcome to the tribe. People that tend to subscribe tend to stick around unless I remove them. So with my birth chart placements, you guys, I tend to get like sometimes obsessive people. And so it's a different experience, I would say, for me. Like on Instagram, I have to constantly remove followers. And so I always say like, it's not so much about the numbers for me. I'm looking for genuine loyalty. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see when my moderators come and the people that have been with me throughout the beginning. Those are my people. Those are my people. And there's something about that message here with loyalty. Okay. They're showing me, actually, I had this message restricted. Retracted. Okay, that's weird. Well, all right, back to the conversation I was having with my mentor/friend. She was saying how she had a conversation with a divorce judge. And she wanted to know, in his opinion, professionally and personally, what he thought about marriage and relationships. Where are my notes? I think I might have taken a picture. Did I take a picture? Might have. Okay, it's still running. Are you able to go live at the same time when you're doing other things on here? I don't know if you can. Anyway, let me try to do it by memory. So, look at it as 3 circles overlapping each other. On the outside of the circle, it describes what can change for a connection and a relationship to be protected and grow. One of the first things that can change is your peers and your social circle, social influence, right? The other layer of the circle is your family and your conditioning. The very middle of the circle is your character, integrity, how you handle your freedom, because that will also reflect how you handle your partner's freedom and how you respect their personal autonomy. He says all things can change except the very middle. And so when you're choosing people to be around you and a life partner, those are things that people kind of overlook. Makes sense. Makes sense, right? Anyway. Needing to make a move to remove yourself from a cycle of pain. And this could be literally anything. But I feel as though this might be more so geared towards people. If it's not people, it could be a self-sabotaging behavior. King of Pentacles in reverse. This would speak a little bit about overindulgence, overspending, hoarding. Not a great energy to be in. Definitely not an abundance mindset to be in. And while we're going through these crazy earth and economic shifts, it's important that we look at our money, our resources, and the things that we find worthy differently, right? Chiron and Taurus, what do you value? Is it worth it? Is it worth it to, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, but I do attract a lot of entrepreneurs and people that are interested in becoming a small business or own one. But is it worth it to go to a 9-to-5 job until you die to help produce for someone else? Or is it better to invest into yourself? Now, I'm not saying this is for everyone. If you have a good job, I'm not telling you to go leave it. But things to consider. I like how a bunch of people just jumped on just from me saying that. That must mean that it's aligned, right? Is there anyone in the room that is an entrepreneur, small business owner, artist, anything like that? Got a side hustle? Thinking about changing things in your 10th house, career, work? Yo, what is with today? We just got a lot of people watching, not enough talking. I feel like people talk more when I'm showing my face. Which is kind of annoying because you guys pull on my energy and try to get my attention while I'm trying to do a reading, and it's better if I'm focused. That's why I sometimes have the camera off, because it's not about my face, it's about the message, and I don't like feeling pressured to perform. It makes me feel just like inauthentic. And there are times where like the performer in me will come out, and it comes from a past life. And they're saying that there's a message about that there also. About feeling, this is going on in the TikTok community where everybody is feeling like that pressure and feeling turned off by that pressure, if not with themselves, but with other people as well. Like feeling like, I don't know, that doesn't resonate because it feels disingenuine type of energy. And if there are relationships that are falling away, just know that it's supposed to happen. We're still in Mercury retrograde, aren't we? I was like, I always get tongue-tied during readings because I have a significant mercurial placement. Why? Uranus and Gemini. You might want to slow your ass down. Slow down as much as possible because there's something that you might be overlooking. This is also being prone to accidents. Like even one of my reader friends, she posted on her Instagram stories how she was chopping up vegetables, I think, and she cut her knuckles. Definitely that energy. People starting fights or getting into fights. There's some kind of lesson around confrontation, how we confront things, how you react to things. And now they're highlighting me a really old book that I haven't thought of in a long time, but I know I've recommended it on Instagram before. It's called The Dance of Connection. And as a, I guess, dysregulated attachment person, I've had to learn a lot about how to confront things in a healthy way. And I still struggle. Like even just today, I think I had to do it. Yeah. And it was weird because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been through this pattern before in a different dynamic. And so there's something like that going on here where you're recognizing a pattern from something that's not even relevant, but it is relevant. It is. Okay, digging into another deck that I don't know what it's called, but I like the artwork. Okay, pause. I just want to get your guys' opinion. What do you think I should do about these tarot decks? Like some of these are vintage tarot decks. Are there anyone on YouTube that is interested in that kind of stuff? Because I'm about to create an eBay store. Got any tarot collectors here? These are so freaking cool, you guys. 1990, 1970, 1980. I know my friend mentioned he had one from like the 1800s. There's so much history in tarot. And no, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I have researched it. It's just lost in the brain files. Show me what's going on for the collective. The World. 3 of Cups. 9 of Cups. Feeling fulfilled in your social connections, if not now, very soon. Which doesn't surprise me because Pluto goes direct in Aquarius in October. Three of Pentacles. 333 is significant. Mermaids, shells, lions, dolphins. We got all the fixed signs here. So if you have a fixed sign kind of placement, I would look into that. Two of Wands. Moving on to greener pastures. Why does my body temperature always change when I do tarot readings? It's so weird. Page of Swords. Aha! That makes sense. So, the Page of Swords. I feel like too many tarot readers always say, oh my gosh, you have a stalker, or oh my gosh, it's gossip. But the Page of Swords is someone that investigates and shares information, which is why it gets the bad rep of being a gossiper. But I don't really see that kind of energy here. I do see investigating how emotionally fulfilled you feel, whether it's your location or friendships. This could also be coworkers, work dynamics, projects. Sorry, I came across like a note in the tarot deck and I was like, interesting. This was a gifted deck, apparently. That's sweet. They're also mentioning gifts, trade. Page of Swords could be an air sign. Gemini energy is what I'm getting, but technically any air sign. You might be realizing when you've chosen connections or friendships that were more from an egoic place or a place for validation. And there is like an identity shift. Check out your Libra placement to figure out where to find the balance. And if you guys are curious about coaching, I do teach my coaching clients on how to look into that for themselves, because it's my belief that tarot and astrology is great for self-study, even though totally worth getting a tarot reading and having a trusted astrologer by your side. At least for me, that's my opinion. That's how I roll. They're saying backhanded compliments. And then I heard water rolling off your back. I don't know. And so maybe that's happening. High Priestess. There's something, oh yeah, King of Wands in reverse. Something's going to piss you off so bad that it's going to put you into the King of Pentacles energy. Now the pink, can I talk? The King of Pentacles energy. So when I've gotten this card personally, you guys, this can come out in so many different ways. So King of Pentacles looks like the person that has it all. It usually represents some kind of financial security, but I've been this archetype before, even when I technically didn't feel financially secure. But it's an internal manifestation, right? Internal manifestation. And so when you focus on the inner security and stability, that's when things shift for you. Instead of focusing on the numbers or money, or I'm getting like data analytics, I'm hearing promotion. Like if you're someone that's like wanting to get into a higher position, I think you might have to look at things differently to get yourself to the King of Pentacles level. There's also something about tempering your emotions and figuring out what is worth it. And now they're pointing to me an example that my friend and I have been working on with our business and going through like a marketing strategy. Okay, I lost it. What was your point there? 1 second. Let's think about this. Gosh, they're giving me so many scenarios of just like recent conversations I have. That's kind of how my readings go, just telling a story. So like, okay, say you have like a 10-year goal. And I'm just going to give an example of like my home state area, Seattle. You have a goal to move to Seattle in 10 years and you want this very specific house and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying it's not possible and that you can't get there, but you kind of have to be adaptable and pivot with the changes. Now, it's telling me that you can actually get to where you want to be sooner if you stop getting stuck on the how it happens, which is very common with manifesting. I think that's a common mistake people come across. Like, you're always going to get what you need. It might not be specifically what you want, right? I do know that one of Miriam's scans that she posted, one of them is one just for yourself. If you're wondering what your purpose is. And as long as you live in your purpose, abundance and money will flow. Opportunities will come. That's my belief. I mean, technically, that's how work started. It wasn't your parents wanting you to be a doctor or a lawyer, or I don't know, maybe they wanted you to be an artist. Who knows? It was what you were assigned to do before you even got here to Earth. And the natural curiosity, Page of Swords, is the spiritual call to go searching for it. Now, there's a quote, I think it comes from Bashar, and I know like not everyone believes that Bashar is like a real channel. I think he is. And whether or not you believe in it, I feel like the information that he gives is like, I don't know, how can you argue with a lot of it? But the desire is enough to be able to act on it. And now I feel like a lot of people might argue with that and say, oh, okay, just because I want chocolate ice cream, I should get chocolate ice cream. And I say, hell yeah, unless you're like allergic or something. Clearly use your discernment. But do you know the difference in your emotions? You really can't know the difference with your emotions until you get to a King of Pentacles archetype. You know why? That inner stability won't shake you. And so there's a difference between a feeling and a passing moment to where you're making a temperance kind of decision. Does that make any sense, you guys? Because the Empress is in reverse over here. It's way easier to pay attention to what your intuition and the spiritual call when you focus on that inner security and stability. Okay, there's like water all over these cards, but it's like the artwork itself is very ocean oriented. There's like mermaids on it and stuff. They're highlighting manifesting with water, talking to water, cleansing with water, replenishing with water. One of my past coaching clients, now friends, she's really big about going to visit like a specific spot that she lives close by and just sitting by the water, right? It's very spiritually healing. Highly recommend. Like, you know, they have all these like gurus and workshops of like the promises to get you what you want, right? But the answers are very simple. Yet, us as humans, we all tend to sabotage to a degree. And so it's useful to have a coach or a mentor to help kind of not necessarily hold your hand, but cheer you on. Everybody needs one friend, right? And if you say no, I say you're fucking lying, because we don't get anywhere by ourselves. Like, I don't really like that quote that, you know, you're born alone, you die alone. It's something that my ex-spouse used to say. He said it came from his dad. And I'm like, wow, you're such a light. What a great way to look at life, right? Nah, completely opposite energy. Completely opposite. More inclusion instead of exclusion. And I feel like the exclusion is what puts you at the Five of Pentacles. Let's dig into another one. No, I don't think I want that one. I don't know why that one didn't give me good energy. That was weird. Is that an oracle deck? Oh, the Portal Oracle. Never seen this before. Night lights, number 19. Getting intuitive hits at night. Bridges. There's that message about confrontation again. Oh, this came up in a discussion too. Keeping connections and dealing with confrontation without burning a bridge. Extremely hard. I think that's basically what that book is about, The Dance of Connection. Enchanted. The Gates. High Priestess. Number 13, 11, 12, significant, 7, ancestors. Tell me more. Definitely not what I was expecting. Oh, that's hilarious. So the Gates card, number 13, has a Saturn planet picture on there. Looking at your Saturn placement, always important, because that's usually your your signature life lesson. In charge. I heard taking accountability. 72. Number 9. Earth. Number 40. Harmony. Harmony is coming. If you're not experiencing harmony right now, by October, you might see a significant shift. They're also saying February and April of next year, 2027. That's so weird to think about, you guys. This year has just been flying by for me. How about you guys? At one point, it felt like it was moving slow as molasses. And then out of nowhere, I've been called to make huge, significant changes, some that even I have been putting off. Which is funny because some of the people that I've been updating, like, oh, this and this and this is going on, they're like, where did that come from? I'm like, actually, it's been something I've been thinking about for 3 years. So there's that kind of energy here where you might pop out with something and it might surprise other people what you choose. Yet, it's always been there. It's always been there. 777. I love this Justice card in the mermaid deck. It's so cool looking. I wish I knew what this one was called, but I don't see a name. Do you guys believe in mermaids? I was telling my friend's husband about the Gerald and Dolphin story. Have you guys heard about that story? Where a guy in Florida claims that he was kidnapped by a bunch of dolphins and they asked him to help build a city. And then when the doctors analyzed him, it appears that he really was underwater for a very, very long time that almost seems humanly impossible. And so now everybody's debating, is this guy telling the truth? Did this really happen? And there's a lot of information out there that is curious on why there are laws against dolphins being close to pregnant people or to not feed the dolphins. And we know dolphins are very smart, right? I don't know why they're bringing this up right now. But apparently that's relevant. I think it's true. I think anything is possible at this point with everything that's happened. And I think it'd be arrogant to say that we know everything. We don't. That's the whole, I guess that's the whole point of a Uranus and Gemini transit, is because it brings in innovation, new information to create change. So we'll be getting like these downloads to create something. It's giving me like Thomas Edison with the light bulb. And I don't even know, I know like as a kid they explained his process and how he got there, but it's kind of like that. It starts off with like an experiment and a curiosity, and it leads to a physical thing that produces something, like a light bulb. Electricity goes into, I don't know. Someone explain the science behind this. But do you get what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, that is so random. Now they're giving me Dragon Tales. Does anybody remember Dragon Tales, or is that just my generation? Gosh, what? We didn't really have cable growing up. And so, like, we would only have, like, channels from, like, I don't know, 1 to 12. I remember when my parents had more money as I got older, because I'm the oldest child. I think they gained more channels as time went on. But, like, I think I only watched, like, Channel 9 when I was a kid. And they would have these cartoons. And Dragon Tales was one of them. I don't know, they're highlighting that. And now they're giving me the chance. Let's see if I remember. I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land of heart. Please, does no one remember Dragon Tales? Ugh! If you rewatch the video after the live and you see this, please put it in the comments. That would make my day if you remember. Someone out there has to. It can't just be for me, right? My channeling is so random. They keep showing me the number 9. And now they're saying age 9. So go back to when you were 9 years old. Maybe dig into those memories. I'm trying to think of when I was 9. I think that's the show I watched, really, when I was around that age. I also watched Arthur, Zaboomafoo, and the Kraft Brothers. Oh, it's so funny. They keep highlighting the lemur. What is the spiritual meaning behind the lemur? I wish I had my tablet open, but I don't. Sure. Okay. All right, pause. I have a bookshelf next to me, and they're telling me to go look for a book. So one moment while I go dig for a book. Let's see what book they want me to give you. Okay, it's this one. Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor E. Frankl. All right, what page do you want me to give the collective? Let's do this. 73. Man that he can only live by looking to the future. It is a peculiarity of a man that he can only live by looking to the future, and this is his salvation in the most difficult moments of his existence, although he sometimes has to force his mind to ask. All right? I've never read this book before, you guys. I remember a personal experience, almost in tears from pain. Parentheses, I had terrible sores on my feet from wearing torn shoes. I limped a few kilometers with our long column of men from thinking of the endless little problems of our miserable life. What would there be to eat tonight? If a piece of sausage came as an extra ration, should I exchange it for a piece of bread? Oh, this is so relevant to what we were just talking about, you guys. Should I trade my last cigarette, which was left from a bonus I received a fortnight ago, for a bowl of soup? How could I get a piece of wire to replace the fragment which served as one of many shoelaces? Would I get to our work site in time to join my usual work party, or would I have to join another? Which might have a brutal foreman? What could I do to get on good terms with the capo who would help me to obtain work in camp instead of undertaking this horribly long daily match? I became disgusted with the state of affairs, which compelled me, daily and hourly, to think of only such trivial things. I forced my thoughts to turn into another subject. Suddenly, I saw myself standing on the platform of a well-lit, warm, and pleasant lecture room. In front of me sat an attentive audience on comfortable upholstered seats. I was giving a lecture on the psychology of the concentration camp. All that oppressed me at that moment became objective, seen and described from the remote viewpoint of science. By this method, I succeed somehow in rising above the situation, above the sufferings of the moment, and I observe them as if they were already the past. Both I and my troubles became the object of an interesting psychoscientific study undertaken by myself. What does Spinoza say in his Ethics? And then I believe that feels Italian, whatever that says, which translates to emotion which is suffering ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it. Okay, I'm going to say that slower. Emotion which is suffering ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it. All right. Interesting. Okay. They want me to show another page from the book. 45. All right, one second. Is it 45 or is it 44? 44, okay. Oh, they're telling the whole story. Okay, we don't really need those 2 pages, really. It's this line: the attempt to develop a sense of humor and to see things in a humorous light is some kind of trick learned while mastering the art of living. Yet it is possible to practice the art of living even in a concentration camp, although suffering is omnipresent. To draw an analogy, a man's suffering is similar to the behavior of gas. If a certain quantity of gas is pumped into an empty chamber, it will fill the chamber completely and evenly, no matter how big the chamber. Thus, suffering fills the human soul and conscious mind, no matter whether the suffering is great or little. Therefore, the size, quote unquote, of suffering is absolutely relative. It also follows that a very trifling thing can cause the greatest of joys. Take an example, something that happened on our journey to the camp affiliated with Dashu. I think that's a location. We all had been afraid that our transport was headed for the Mothsin camp. We became more and more tense as we approached a certain bridge where the train would have to cross. According to the statement of experienced traveling companions, those who have never seen anything similar cannot possibly imagine the dance of joy performed in the carriage by the prisoners when they saw that our transport was not crossing the bridge and was instead heading only for Dashu. Now they're showing me the 2 of Wands. So there's that message about a pivot. So it's almost like you're going down a road and then you hit another crossroads and then you pivot. Keep going down that road. You see a bird. You go in the direction of the bird. It's that kind of energy. Let your desires lead you. Oh, that was the point I was trying to make earlier. A lot of people don't know the root of their desire. And that's something that I work on with coaching, and you can see it in your birth chart too. You can basically get Miriam's scan. You don't even have to get a tarot reading with me. You can see it in your own star DNA. And now they're highlighting something that I learned when I was doing business networking. You know, it's totally not like spiritually industry based. But something that they would say is, what is your why? Which is basically asking, what is your motivation for this desire? You say you want to start a business. You say you want this goal, this thing. What is the root of that? For example, when I was developing my King of Pentacles energy, one of my goals was to have more time with my children and to be able to have them experience work with me, but in a way that it didn't feel like work, in a way that they were more integrated into my life. And so me choosing to do a YouTube channel and work for myself is my why. It is the root of my desire and my motivation, which is a very common thing for parents to say, right? Now, for just me alone, what puts me into King of Pentacles energy is when I feel the most healthy, when I don't feel rushed when I'm cooking. And so whatever makes you feel secure, that would be your thing and your why, right? And it can be different for everyone. Say that you're someone that has to leave your family for 3 months so that you can make a buttload of money, but when you come back, you take your family out for a Disney cruise. And your why for doing it is because you want your children to have all the things that you didn't, because maybe you grew up in a lower financial bracket or something, right? And you went without. And so your desire is to provide. Which you got to be careful of that, right? Because it's kind of a projection. And there's something about that here too, like avoiding people pleasing and putting too much emphasis on doing things for other people, or kind of separating who you are from all the things. Like, who are you when you don't have a career, when you're not tied to the job title or position? And the ego tends to take the driver's seat, right, when it comes to those things, until life humbles you and you like question. And that's why people struggle with even just like breakups, because they're like, who am I without this person? That's scary, right? And so the collective is going through that kind of shift where certain things are being ripped away to kind of remind you. That's where they want to end it, guys. That's where they want to end it. Please double tap to like the video, share and subscribe. Thanks to everyone that joined in. I hope that reading was helpful for you. If you're in need of a personal reading, go ahead and check out my links. But until next time, guys, bye.